Hey folks, David Stewart here. A little bit of a Saturday show. I've been trying to do these, but I had a bunch of things standing in the way, so Saturdays kind of had to be something that I wasn't doing this stuff with. So mostly I just want to play some games today. There's not too much to talk about before we get into gameplay. Let me see if there's anything significant. Oh yeah, so Leafy was banned from YouTube. So I've never really watched his content, but he had like almost 5 million subscribers, I think, and so he's gone. He's no longer on YouTube. Account suspended, presumably for community guidelines violations. So the way YouTube works now is it used to get these community guidelines strikes, which is that if you violated the community guidelines, 3 strikes and you're out. It doesn't work that way anymore. They can give you all 3 strikes at once, basically whenever the employees of YouTube feel that you should no longer be on YouTube. You won't be on YouTube. And it doesn't really matter if you're a big channel that brings in a lot of money. They don't really care about the money. They don't operate in a way that's designed to produce profit. Profit's really pretty far from their mind, which is why they continue to demonetize channels instead of collecting ad revenue, right? When they pay you ad revenue, it's because they've collected ad revenue from advertisers. So anytime that they demonetize something, it's to punish you. It's not for any kind of business reason, right? If it was for a business reason, they would monetize everything until there was enough of a backlash about something being monetized, they might take it off. But demonetizing ahead of time is really to punish people for doing the content that they disapprove of, political content or any kind of content that they think is not okay. They're going to do that. So it's about punishing you. It's not about making money. It's not about improving the business. YouTube continues as a single entity to lose money, but it makes money for Google because of all the data it collects. It's a data collection thing. That's what you really have to understand with this kind of stuff. So I'm going to do some gaming. I want to talk about that. There's not that much else to talk about besides that. Just like some more follow-up on the whole twerking tots thing. Netflix apologized for their poster showing a bunch of 10 and 11-year-olds in very sexually provocative poses, and then continued to defend the film. Now, the problem with defending a film that's full of twerking tots and then the current defense that you see all over, I had this big viral post on Twitter. You see it as big replies to that. You see it all over Twitter. The big defense is that this is a movie about the sexualization of girls being bad. Now, these are from people who haven't seen it, right? But here's the thing. That's like saying I'm going to make a pornographic film about how porno's bad. If the medium is bad, if the thing which you're showing is bad, then you shouldn't use that as a means to try to show how it's bad. In other words, you wouldn't make a hardcore porno about how hardcore porn is bad for you. That's a hardcore porn. If the medium is bad, then you don't use that medium to communicate its vice. That's a basic thing. So if supposedly this movie has a message about that, really I think it's probably a message about, it's an Islamophobic message about how the Muslim mother is wrong for oppressing the girl, needs to let her have her freedom and engage with this twerking dance crew. Supposedly it was produced by an avowed pedophile who's had his Wikipedia page scrubbed. But if you go look at the archives of that, he has made several films directed towards ageless love, which really comes down to pederasty and other forms of adult-child relationships that we generally consider pedophilic. So that's the development with that. The biggest attempt to try to rebut that dumb little tweet was like, no one thinks Cuties is good. I'm like, tons of people are defending it. It's not my fault you live in an echo chamber where you don't see people coming out of the woodwork to talk about how it's wrong that people are throwing this movie under the bus because of this bad poster doesn't reflect the real movie. It's really not about that. And then the last thing I guess I could say about it is that it's like, well, pedophiles don't really need a movie like this. They can just go look at actual child porn or something like that. That's kind of like saying, that's not the point. The point is to get people to enter into people's minds that this is an appropriate way to think about kids, which is why they're presenting children with costumes that are adult, that are an adult, fully sexually developed woman would wear and be sexually provocative in. They put a child in that so that you can make the connection that children ought to be thought of that way, that children, it's okay to be attracted to children. It's a psychological thing, right? That's my conspiracy theory take, but that's the basic idea. You wouldn't use a medium that you consider vicious to then try to make a message about how that medium is vicious. You wouldn't do it within that medium. It'd be like making a porno about how porno's bad. You wouldn't do that in a porno. You do that in like a documentary. Yeah, it's from France. But the thing is, I wouldn't throw French people under the bus at all. I think France has like a strong, pretty conservative contingent to it. France has its own issues, so don't think that just because it's from France, like France is full of pedophilic people. There's tons of pedophilic people everywhere. Same thing, and it's making the same, be like trying to make the same value judgment about Japan. Lolicon hentai exists, therefore Japanese people are all pedophiles or something, or like, of course Japan is okay with pedophilia. No, it doesn't work that way, you know. So anyway, so that's that. How's the fire situation? It's still pretty bad outside. It looks like I'm playing in a PlayStation 1 game. You know, there's like fog everywhere. And you're like going through and like, oh, there's an item pop out because our draw distance is turned down. That's what it's like. It smells like a barbecue all the time, which isn't good. Is the Cuties movie rated TVMA? Yes, it is. But that doesn't stop kids from watching it. So... And really, I mean, it's really not about kids watching. It's really about adults watching it, right? So clearly it's got enough adult content that it's rated TVMA, not, I don't know, teen or something like that. So just one of those things. Just one of those things. Have you seen any John Ward videos? He did some great burns on the DNC this week. I haven't really paid attention to the DNC other than they ended with some kind of like little musical thing with like a... it was really cringe. I thought it was something from like Saturday Night Live, but I guess it wasn't. I guess it was real. And so we've definitely encountered the level where, and I've made this point before, people are like, hey, you shared something that was like parody. It's like parody and reality can't be separated. It's like a Babylon Bee article from like 3 years ago is just describing reality now. You know, it's like the parody is just 3 years ahead of the actual game. That's kind of where we're at with that. So, anyway, there's that. I will say this about the heat is that it's made ants try to come back into my house, which we have an ant. I live out in the country, so you know we have pest problems and that kind of stuff just because of all the agriculture around me. There's an orchard across the street. There's a dairy across the street. I got all kinds of bugs. Like I just saw an ant a few minutes ago. And I was like, man. These like single ants that come into my house. I'm going to go through and poison them. And then I think what I might try, and I've heard that this works, so you tell me if this works. You get caulk and you go and you caulk like the little corners of stuff because that's where the ants come in. You caulk the windowsills and that'll seal up and keep a lot of the ants from coming in. And also probably like lower your electric bill because you're not getting air escaping out. So anyway. The infomercial that DNC put out, laughable, no policy discussed at all. So here's my prediction. If Biden wins, Kamala Harris will be president by the end of 2021. That's my prediction, if he wins. So I know I shouldn't do if predictions, but it's so obvious, you know. Joe's not going to make it a year. Have you played any Silent Hill games? Yeah, Silent Hill 1 and 2 are both really good on the PlayStation 1. So Silent Hill 2 is really good. I don't think I've played any of the newer ones, although I have a couple of them, like in my Steam library, I think. But 1 and 2 were definitely good. If you haven't played them, I think they're well, there's a couple of games that I think remain really effective, even though they were on the PlayStation 1 with those more choppy graphics. Silent Hill 2, I think, is one of them. I think the fog kind of makes it creepier. Same thing with Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2, because you're going around and there's all these fixed cameras. Same thing actually with Resident Evil 1, but I think Resident Evil 2 does it even better. So there's these fixed camera angles where you hear like the zombies coming, but you can't see them until they're like on top of you. So you hear the hazard before you can see it, and it kind of ups the horror factor. And now people would complain about that fixed camera and say like, why don't you give me a real camera? Which means you basically have to approach the way that you're going to create effective horror completely differently, because you don't have the option of fixing camera angles. Gamers won't tolerate it anymore. So, yeah. All right. I play Silent Hill when I walk outside. That's what it's like now. It was really creepy yesterday, too. The crows, there was like this huge flock of crows in the oaks. They have these big tall oak trees across the street from me. And they were all up in the trees and like chasing all the pigeons and doves out of all the trees and cackling at each other. And then there was a raven that was like having a fight with them and like trying to attack them. This big old raven. Like, it was really weird. There was nothing, like, it was completely silent except for these crows cackling. You know, it's giant murder of crows. Yeah, I don't think Biden will make it a full term, let alone a year. I think within the first year they'll get rid of him, you know, because there is, which amendment is it? If the president can't do the office of president, then the vice president becomes president, which would basically be like they'll force him to take a competency test, and then they'll say that he has to go. Something like that. Yeah, so anyway, maybe let's hop in and play some more Oblivion. I think I want to maybe switch over to Morrowind after we're done with Dark Brotherhood, because Morrowind's really cool, and we could do some Morrowind. I have so many other cool games that I think are really cool to play, like Neverwinter Nights, and it's a lot of older games. Play some Final Fantasy games. I have some of those. You know. Let's see. I have Final Fantasy V. I've never played that one, so that might be a good one to play on stream sometime. Have you read A Series of Unfortunate Events? I have not. Yeah, Zool came to visit me. Have you seen Avatar: The Last Airbender? I think I've seen like a couple episodes of the anime, and it just wasn't really for me, of the animated show. I never watched the movie, but I heard the movie, everyone hated the movie, so apparently that was probably M. Night Shyamalan's like worst movie. So I skipped that one. What do you think about genre tropes like having goblins and elves in a fantasy world? I like classical staples like that, but it's more important that an author tries to be original. I think tropes are fine. In fact, certain tropes are expected. So in a fantasy world, you have a couple of tropes that are more or less expected, that you're going to have some kind of additional races in a lot of cases. You don't have to have any of them, but that it's going to be a different world, that there's going to be maybe some sort of magic involved. Those are all tropes that are staples of the genre, and you should feel free to use them. I think the tendency for a lot of authors to try to be as original as possible just results in world building that's incoherent because of just an attempt to force in originality. So if originality comes at the expense of incoherency, it can work against you. Though I do appreciate originality. That being said, I find most Western modern find most Western modern games or modern novels, fantasy novels, to be a little bit too, they're not really original. They're attempting to subvert the tropes rather than be original, and that's not original either. They just end up with something else. What happened here? My game disappeared. Hold on. Let me find it here. The Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion. There we go. So yeah, I think a lot of modern fantasy it really isn't that original. It's like it's standard fantasy but with different costumes, or it's Tolkien-esque fantasy but we add rape culture into it or something, or like it's it's Tolkien's world but minus, this is basically like Game of Thrones but minus good and evil, becomes like nihilistic Tolkien. That stuff's not necessarily original. It's just again, you're still dealing with the same tropes. Subversions of tropes is not originality. Any thoughts about Baldur's Gate 3? It just got a release date. I didn't know it was in the works. I don't know anything about it. Are you going to purchase Star Wars Squadrons? Probably not. I don't know anything about it, but I don't know. I have like limited time to play, so maybe, I don't know. I heard that that other Star Wars game they made was pretty good. Whoops. I need to get over here to the game. There we go. Let me turn this light off because it's just a little bit too much when you're trying to play something. I'll play something here. Continue. Morrowind is a blast when you figure out how the combat works and how cleverly the stats are simulated. Yeah, Morrowind's great. I don't like this system as much as Oblivion, but that doesn't mean I don't like it. I like that you have a lot more useful skills. I'm going to turn up the brightness just a little bit because I have lights shining in my eyes, so I can't see very well. I prefer to play with it pretty dark, but I also prefer to play in a dark room, so... I think you lose a little bit when you turn up the brightness of Oblivion too much. It doesn't feel like nighttime anymore. Like, it's a stormy night. It should be pretty dark outside. Not quite like EverQuest. In EverQuest, at nighttime, you couldn't see anything. You were completely blind at night. You couldn't see anything in the Fey Dark, for instance. You really wanted to pick a race that could see in the dark if possible, because it was really useful. It's like one of the most useful things was seeing in the dark. Or one of the first things you do if you made a character is try to get a lamp from somebody. Try to get... Oh, we're going to go down a mountain here. It's going to be interesting. Okay, here we go. On Hero Hill. Where's this dead drop? Over here. Hero Hill. There's going to be one in the rocks here somewhere. Oh. Hollowed out rock. I received my next contract. I've received my new orders from Lucian Lachance. I must go to Leaf Rock Cave and kill a necromancer who's begun the process of transforming himself into a lich. This one's fun. This necromancer, Chaldean, has not yet completed his metamorphosis, but is still incredibly powerful. Possibly too powerful to kill if faced directly. I should search the cave for Kaladin's writings and try to discover his weakness. Will we ever get Elder Scrolls 6? I think eventually we will. But the question remains as to whether it's good, because the Bethesda that made the 3 Elder Scrolls games that people really love is not really around anymore. You know, it's a different company now. Man, that is out in the middle of nowhere. What's the quickest way to get there? I guess we got to go to Leyawiin first, huh? If you recommend one fantasy game for a new player, what is that? Oblivion? Oh, for a new player, and like if you've never really played fantasy games, honestly, Skyrim is probably a little easier to get into. It's a little quicker to get into the stuff. This one I like better for a lot of reasons. I like the leveling system better, but it's harder to understand it and like master it because frankly it's a little wonky for what you get. Where's the Mages Guild? Thought it was over here. Fighters. Oh, there's the Mages Guild's way over there. Will I make it there without dying is the question. I have like full vampirism right now. See if we can get that little Mazoka quest too at the same time. Almost there. If you want to spare yourself the reading, A Series of Unfortunate Events has a show. You know, I'd probably prefer to read it. I could probably read it faster than the show. I was just thinking. Let's see here. We're going to wait. I don't know. Do we want to do the Mazoka quest at the same time? Probably not. I think we should just focus on Dark Brotherhood. We don't really need to do the Mazoka quest. We're going to wait for 10 hours. What's the lowest budget for a fantasy miniseries you would feel comfortable with if you were a writer and director? I have no idea. Because I don't direct movies, I really don't. I don't have a good enough grasp on budget at all. You know, there's producers who make movies on very low budgets, but I just don't. That's way beyond my expertise. You know, and the thing is, like, there's companies, and I've reviewed some of their B movies before that I think could do a fantasy movie on a really low budget. They have experience doing it. The problem is usually that they're not shooting very good stories, and they're not shooting. They're doing their best, but the stories just don't end up being that good. And so, if you could write a better story, if you could, especially if you could write it with the amount in mind, like, you know, we're going to avoid things which cost money to shoot. You could probably do it pretty well, I'd imagine. Anyway. Should really get to a healer. Did you see the new Call of Duty Cold War trailer? I did not, but I heard lots of people being very upset about it because it had... where's my horse? He's not outside the gates, is he? Oh, a gate to Oblivion. I forgot about those. Yeah, where's my horse? I think he's probably outside the other gates. Go to this gate. Bethesda fired Jeremy Solé, the guy who composed the music for Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, over vague sexual harassment accusations. Well, what it was is it was a... someone who he had a sexual relationship with accused him of being an abuser, whatever that happens to mean, at that time and place. So that's what happened. Here's my horse. And therefore, now you never get to work again. That's what happens, is that you can Me Too a guy, you can accuse him of something, and then that person never gets to work again. They have to, I don't know, change their name and pick oranges or something. I don't know what. And the thing is that I'd be happy picking oranges. I could be happy doing anything. What I would do, you know, if they asked me to do it, I would just have Jeremy do it and give him the money and pretend that I did it, and then come out after the game and it's like, Jeremy actually did this. Like, I just don't see this game having the same impact without him doing the music, if that makes any sense. You know, the ESO music is not bad, but it's not as good. It just doesn't fit the mood right. Both this and Skyrim and Morrowind, all three of those, not both, but they all do a really good job with the music. It's one of the reasons that these games have the impact they have. It's because they have the music that they have. What are your thoughts on Abraham Lincoln? Do you think many libertarians are too harsh on him? No, I don't. I'm not a fan of Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln began the empire. I mean, the United States ceased to exist once the Civil War began. It stopped being separate states with their own autonomy that maybe are together as well in a federation, and really became a top-down empire at that point. Now, because you don't have the option of leaving, you're no longer a state if you can't leave. So if you can't leave the state, it's no longer a state. It's just a province. It's a prefecture, if you will. So we just live in various prefectures of the empire. wonder if I can talk to Nocturnal yet. I think I need ectoplasm to talk to her. May say I'm not high enough level. Yeah, I think I need to be level 10 before I can talk to Nocturnal. And I think I need ectoplasm. So, we'll find a ghost and get some ectoplasm here.
We are not afraid of the dark. The Night Mistress gives us eyes to see night's secrets.
Okay.
What is your business? You should not be in this place. What is your business here? Perhaps you have been summoned. Perhaps Nocturnal desires your service and has guided you here. Approach.
Not sure offhand what the cost was, but Hawk the Slayer is a nice fantasy film that appears to have had a smaller budget. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Abraham Lincoln disregarded the Constitution entirely. And so at that point, it really is a case that, like, the Constitution only has any kind of significance if people believe that it should. If they believe that it should follow. It should follow that you should actually follow the Constitution.
Why do you not approach the shrine? Enough talk.
You know, he like imprisoned journalists and all kinds of things, quote journalists. So if you're going to be in an empire, I think we should just stop pussyfooting around it and just, you know, treat it like we're in an empire. It's like we kind of need a Sola or someone to set things right. Oh, you don't need anything to talk to Nocturnal. Okay. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else that has the ectoplasm. Thank you. Arpenia. See, eventually, if you want to, you can explore all these, and there's usually treasures in all of them, including like the High Elven, the alien statues. That's a pretty cool quest that takes a while to complete, and I don't really remember where they're all at. Something is not happy I'm riding by on my horse. Yeah, we stopped being Virginians. Michiganers. We stopped being anything like that. Once we had Lincoln. It's just reality. I don't think libertarians are too harsh on him at all. I think if you're going to appreciate him, it has to be from an imperial perspective. You know, he's like the first president to form. He formed the United States into the United Empire, you know, the American Empire. This is why it's kind of funny when it's like, oh, the Democrats in California are thinking of seceding. It's like, they're not going to be able to, because that's not an option. We've proven it's not an option, and that the federal government will kill hundreds of thousands of people to make sure that that's not an option. What are your thoughts on the view that Lincoln and some predecessors like James Madison, who believed that secession was anarchy and would destroy the concept of a republic? I don't know. If you don't have an option to leave, then it's not a voluntary union, which means you're not in a federation. You're in an empire, by its definition.
No, no, stay away from me.
This is funny. The bandit attacks me, but he runs away from me because I'm a vampire. That's really funny, because usually he'll come up and say something to you before he attacks you. But he comes up and talks to me and says, stay away from me. You could probably just kill him to get some loot if you wanted to, but that's a distraction, so we're going to skip it. I like this. Oblivion overall feels larger than Skyrim, though I'm sure it isn't. I'm not sure. You know, Skyrim to me feels pretty big. Morrowind, I think, feels the biggest, and it might actually be the biggest, but I think one of the reasons it feels the biggest is that, especially earlier in the game, you gotta walk everywhere. You know, you're doing a lot of walking in Morrowind. Uh-oh, there's a troll. Let's just go past that troll. Later, troll. So I'm a little stuffy from all the smoke in the air. Troll, stop trying to chase me. You realized I'm not very tasty. Is this a cliff? Where am I? Come on, Shadowmere. Let go up and over this. My horse can't climb walls very well, apparently. Oh, there's something else here that wants me. Wants me dead. Where am I? There's got to be a better way up over this. Maybe I got to go down by the river first. Madison argued that secession is only constitutional if all the states agree to let the seceding state leave, and that unilateral secession violated the constitutional contract. Well, I mean, I don't know what kind of contract you agree to that you can't ever break it unless everybody else agrees to. It'd be like saying you can't get divorced unless your husband says so. Or you can't get divorced unless your wife says so. Okay, then you can't get divorced. Because why would they want to let you leave the union? I mean, maybe that's the case. Like, no one's really tried it where, like, in California said, we want to secede, and all the other states were like, yeah. But the more states you get, the more that you're going to have somebody dissent and say, you can't secede. It becomes an practical impossibility. It's like saying, you know, you can quit your job if the other 100 people at the job agree to it. Otherwise, you have to keep working there for a quarter an hour. Oh, I got bandits attacking me now. Get out of here, bandits. Some fire shooting at me. Why do you live in California? My entire family on my wife's side is here. I don't really have a relationship with the family on my mom's side or my dad's side. So my wife's family's here. And until they die off, we kind of need to stick it out because family matters a lot. You know, there's also the thing that, like, why would I abandon a place? Because, you know, at a certain point you have to because you can no longer fight for what's correct. But, you know, I don't want to abandon, like, my alien in-laws to the difficulties that are coming. You know, maybe once all that's gone, we can consider moving back to Texas, which is where my family is. But like I said, I don't really have a relationship with them. I basically grew up in California after, like, a pretty young age. I was born in Texas. Seeing my extended family every couple of years. My parents intentionally lived far away from their families. Whether that was because they don't like their families or because they were baby boomers and that was just the culture, was to move away from your family and only see people on Christmas. That's just the way the culture developed for them. I don't know. But that's where we're at. So, but my wife has a huge family here. You know, massive Dutch family, and we like that. So we're not going to just abandon that just because. And if you don't live here, it's way more diverse. Like, I live in a very conservative area. Most of the problems in California come from San Francisco, all the pause places, like San Francisco and LA, which is also like where all the, you know, illegal voting happens. In fact, I think I've seen mathematically that, like, if it wasn't for illegal immigrants voting, Donald Trump would have won California. You think about that. So it's a very small impacted places that you don't want to go. And then everybody else is living in more or less empty space. Oh, here's the cave. So, anyway, a lot of people don't quite get what California's about. Oh yeah, you get those Varla stones from the Alien ruins, so you can recharge your weapons. Yeah, I never want to concede if I can fix it. At a certain point, like if the loss is inevitable, you kind of have to. But you really don't want that to be the case. Oh, there's a zombie there. Let's take a look around. There we go. Sneaking in here. Oh, there's a ghost. See, we can get some ectoplasm right here. But we got to hit him with a magic item. Otherwise, you can't hit him. So ghosts, you're going to need either silver or like some kind of magic item. Like silver arrows or a silver bow. Marksman skill increased. Go over there and grab that ectoplasm. Or you can hit them with magic. Like if you shoot magic at them, that will also kill them. Let's see if any of these are not novice items. Shirt with suspenders. Gold and a lockpick. Ah, here's his little diary here. I'll read it to y'all. Does California have good soil where you live? Yes. Yes. Excellent soil. It's the best in the world. Entry 1. My initial findings may have been inconclusive, but they set me on the path I will pursue until I achieve my goal, or lie rotting in this cave. Either outcome will be a welcome respite from the days and nights I've spent toiling without food, water, or any kind of companionship. A lesser mage would have fallen prey to madness by now. I'm sure of it. But I am not a lesser mage, though they try in earnest. Though their hearts and minds are true to the teachings of our great sovereign, my fellow necromancers lack the complete dedication required to achieve that ultimate of goals. The state of lichdom. Not even Falcar himself can match my sheer tenacity, my unwillingness to accept failure on any level. That is why I, Celidaean, will soon join the ranks of the worm eremites, those servants favored by our sovereign above all others. And if you do the mage quest, you figure out about Manny Marco. I will sit with honor and obedience at his right hand, while these fools in the Mages Guild grovel at my maggot-ridden feet. Even the most pedestrian peasant fairy tale has long held that a lich must somehow remain bound to his soul, and that connection most commonly manifests itself as a transference of the spirit into an actual physical object. Lloyd Alexander, by the way, used this in one of the Prydain stories. It was a good one. The guy was a lich, but he had his spirit like left in a finger bone that he hid in a tree. An urn, a sarcophagus, a crystal phial. One Khajiit fairy tale even tells of a lich who preserved his spirit in the severed head of a wood elf infant. And these same peasants long comforted themselves with the belief that if they ever had the grave misfortune of facing a lich, they would need only find the vessel containing his spirit form and then destroy it, thus destroying the lich himself. Fools and their folklore! True liches possess no such weakness. Can one of the sovereign's worm eremites be bested by shattering a glass vase? The very notion is so absurd as to be comical. Yes, a necromancer must transfer his soul into a physical vessel, but once that transference is complete, once the necromancer is fully metamorphosed into his lich form, the vessel is inconsequential. But it's the process of this transference itself that has eluded me for so long. My soul remains bound into my earthly body,
and nothing I have attempted has allowed me to free myself of this mortal coil, and transcend to the state of lichdom I so dearly desire. Entry 3. Every tome I've acquired, the volumes upon volumes of necromantic discourse, all useless. I have grown disgusted by the years of wasted life that have been poured into these so-called essential writings. Who in their right mind would ever wish to animate a month-dead cyrodiilic butterfly, or bring life to the rotting husk of a rare albino mudcrab? How many months have I wasted away in this cave? And for what reason? Yes, I know. I will resurrect an army of deformed goblin younglings and march to the White Gold Tower itself. That at least is my reach. My mind has become a cesspool of necromantic waste, where reject spells and rituals compete for the honor of finally driving me completely insane. And still I am no closer to achieving my goal than I was when I first began this process. I am losing faith in myself, in my discipline. Perhaps I have been studying too hard. Many a night have I sacrificed my prayers to our sovereign for one more experiment, one more incantation. What I need now is rest, and a state of tranquility, so that I might commune with our sovereign and repledge my loyalty and devotion. For what answer will I find in some crumbling codex that could not be supplied by our great sovereign himself? Entry 4. The secret is mine. So long I searched. So hard I toiled. But I was a fool. I was right to forgo my studies for a more ardent devotion to prayer. Last night, as I sit in the throes of meditation, our great sovereign did come to me. He passed to me the knowledge I have sought for so long. The secrets of transcendence were even more complex and arcane than even I could have imagined, and I will never transcribe them into any written work. Indeed, they have never been recorded. All of my months of solitude were for naught, as the secret I so desperately sought could only be obtained through direct communication with our great sovereign himself. Soon I will walk the earth as a worm eremite, serving the sovereign in a state of endless undeath. Through the sacrifice of many innocents, the resurrection of many servants to aid me in my tasks, and the tireless performance of a nearly week-long ritual, I have completed construction of the Sands of Resolve. The transcendence to full lichdom will not be immediate, however. The vessel has been crafted, but by energy force. My soul must be fully transferred into it. Not even our sovereign was quite certain how long this process would take, as it varies from one necromancer to the next. This is way longer than I thought it would be, based on many factors, both physical and spiritual. One thing, however, is certain. This hourglass must never leave my possession until the transference is complete. I grow more powerful every day, but in truth am more vulnerable than I've ever been. If something were to happen to the Sands of Resolve, if the hourglass should somehow leave my person, the connection between soul and vessel would be severed. To think that my work, my life, could be eradicated so easily after I've come so close to success is almost more than I could bear. I'll take it. I have discovered the journal of the necromancer Celidaean. It appears that he used a magic hourglass called the Sands of Resolve to turn himself into a lich and extend his life indefinitely. It's the Cliff Notes version of this thing that was like too long. The process is not yet complete, however, and the hourglass must remain on Celidaean's person for some time, as it contains his life force. If I could remove the Sands of Resolve from Celidaean's position, perhaps through pickpocketing he would surely die. So they tell you how to do it, which is okay, I guess. I think it would be way better if they just didn't tell you. If it was just like, you know, they didn't tell it to you. So obviously, you had to kind of think, oh, what if I pickpocketed him? I bet that would work. Have you tried out Beyond Skyrim? I've not. They remade Bruma Province in the city in Skyrim. At some point, push comes to shove with where you live. All of my family's from Flint, Michigan. There's no way in hell I would live there. Yeah. Which of your books would you recommend I read after having finished Tyrant's Gallow? Probably Water of Awakening if you haven't read it. You can have some idea of what things were like in the past of those other books, the distant past.
Oh, well that worked. Oh, what else I got here? Sepulthorn. Oh, Longsword of Shocking. Here we go. This'll work. There you go. Later, ghost. Let's check in here. Gold. Bone meal. Oh, thank you for the $5, Kaku. Woke Scrolls, Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. Boy, where do you even begin and regret it won't end? Oh boy. Yeah, they should make a game of that. That would be like a crazy. That would be a crazy game. They did a Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone game. You have to like trade heroin for electricity or something. All right. I think there he is. I think he's right there. No, I think we gotta be sneaky. Yeah, I can see him. Let me just sneak up behind him and pickpocket him really quickly. There we go. That's how you kill him. Celadane is dead. I must pick up my reward and next contract at the dead drop located in the old sack hidden in the bushes beneath the great oak in the city of Coral. Sweet. And then you can also take his hood and robes if you want. For some reason. Chainmail Greaves. Gold. Mort flesh we could use. I have to do some alchemy before I drink blood next time. Is there anything else cool in here? Bones. We have some other stuff. Some mushrooms. Just leaving these valuable mushrooms sitting around. Gold. Sometimes this guy has some like more advanced alchemy equipment, I think, too. So we snuck in here, we got him. Let's check this little room. Sometimes there's anything else in here. Gold. Are you using a spell or ability, or do you have the Fingleam Helm? I'm using an ability, so it's called Hunter Sight, and you get it for being a vampire. So you get Night Eye and Detect Life, which are both really useful. And over here we have, you know, vampire abilities, fully vampire. So you get some like, you know, Fortify Sneak, right? So you get that. If you look over here at like stats, you know, your stats get a big boost from vampirism, except your personality. And you can even look, you'll see, it'll show you what Sneak is, or Sneak. It might show it with all the buffs. I don't think it actually shows it with the buffs. Oh well. Is there a way out of it? Oh, no. I already came this way. Should be a ramp up somewhere. Here it is. I found it. Do you hear that Cuties is semi-autobiographical? The director apparently based it on her own childhood experiences. That doesn't really excuse it. If people are like, it's done by a female director, I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? Why does the category of female director suddenly matter so much? Might have just leveled up there. Oh, it saw me. Might as well roll up on there. Roll up on that guy. have to like find my way out of here. Well, I guess I could just like explore this cave a little bit. See what else is in here. Thank you for the 50 knock. What do you think about the Dark Knight movies? I like them. So, yeah, I like all three of them. The Dark Knight trilogy, I think they're good. I think they're good superhero movies. I know people really like that second one, Dark Knight, but I think all three of them are pretty good. Some mushrooms here. Okay. Moving on. So, I'm gonna look around again. It seems like this is a room where they would actually put like a treasure chest maybe or some loot, but I'm just not seeing any. Don't you understand, David? This means she's brave and stunning. I want to be creative and make things, but I'm incredibly self-critical to the point of self-sabotage and never allow myself to take satisfaction in my efforts. Advice to get over this? I have some in the book. Which is basically you have to publish what you create and get over it. There's different things you could do too. Like, for instance, you could hire an editor and not look at your manuscript after it leaves your hands, because you're too self-critical. Mainly it's that you have to get over the fear of people not liking you. Almost always it's like a fear of judgment of others. That is, quote, perfectionism. People are rarely actually perfectionists. What they actually are is they don't want people to say negative things about them. So you're probably not as self-critical so much as you just would be embarrassed if something sucked. But not everyone's going to like what you do. And I can guarantee you no amount of editing will stop that 1-star review from coming out. It's going to happen, you know. So you could spend 5 years editing your manuscript. Then you get a 1-star review and you're like, "What? I suck." It would have happened whether you spent 5 years or like 1 month or 1 week. Oh, we didn't kill Matty Marco in Oblivion, even if it was him, since his defeat didn't include the destruction of any vessel. Interesting. What are your thoughts on Tim Burton's Batman movies? I think they're okay. I like the Dark Knight trilogy better, probably. About cuties, I wasn't surprised, but still astonished how people became so immoral and illogical just to play a good person, not taking a stance. I don't know. I don't know what side they're on there. For me, like, the problem with cuties is like it's obviously a really gross cover, and somebody who created it didn't really think it was bad. And then the rebuttal.
There is currently no vaccine to prevent coronavirus.
Well, thank you, phone.
To prevent illness is to avoid exposure.
Thanks, Bigsby. I didn't ask you to talk to me. You know, you wouldn't if you wanted to make some kind of criticism of little girls being sexual. Do you want to make a whole movie full of children dancing sexually? Is that the way that you're going to do that? I mean, it's certainly going to shock people. You know, it's certainly going to shock people, but is it going to actually do that message? My answer would be probably not. You're kind of talking on both sides of your mouth if you think that that's some sort of anti-pedophilic stance. And I don't want to get too like pedophrastic, like someone think of the children, but you know, it's you have a big company that's taking your money and then buying the rights to. Here it is. It's taking your money and then buying the rights to films like that. I've received my new orders from Lucy and LeChance. I must kill every member of the Draconis family. Perennia Draconis, Matthias Draconis, Andreas Draconis, Sibylla Draconis, and Celia Draconis. I know the locations of only the family matron, Perennia Draconis, who can be found on the farm known as Applewatch. I should head to Applewatch, find out as much information as I can on the locations of the other family members, and then systematically kill them all. I'm sure, Contrarian, you're probably right. The shock might have been part of the marketing. And I think that is not an invalid analysis. Where's Applewatch? Eventually, this entire sequence ends at Applewatch. What time is it? It's called Applewatch. Almost 2. I only want to stream a little bit longer because I have to use the bathroom, and I also have a lot of other work to do today. I want to make more content. Oh, this one's easy to get to. Up there. No, actually, I should probably unload my bags first. Yeah. Go in the inn. Sell some stuff to Thorin here. Yeah, Netflix did go out of the way to make it provocative. You know, and that's kind of Netflix's fault. You know? But the preview does it too. It just shows them all like dancing, trying to dance sexy the whole time. That's the whole preview. I can easily see how someone would come to that conclusion.
You need something? Have a look at my wares. I'm sure there's something to suit you.
Should go find out if I trained this level.
Let's see if we can't teach you a thing. Only quality goods for sale here. What can I interest you in?
Sells Elven Dagger. Sell that. Start sell these dwarven.
You got a great
stuff.
deal there.
Let's see what else we got. That's a pound. We don't really need that. Oh, we can sell these for pretty good amount. Summon Rufio's ghost. So these are a pound. Varla stones. Soul gems. Okay. Well. Problem is,
your business.
He doesn't really buy. He'll buy like really expensive Daedric items, which is like really useful. But he won't buy like potions. So we got to go back over to Thorinir to sell potions. Did you lose interest in Final Fantasy VII? No. Here's the problem: is like I've been busy at night to the point where like I really have to focus on my work or I won't get any work done. And I can only play at night because it's not really appropriate for children. So I can't play when my kids are awake, which is pretty much all the other time that I have to play. So I still want to play it, but I just haven't been able to find time to like actually sit down and play it or stream it. What I've been doing is playing like Persona 4 on like my Vita before bed because I haven't finished that game. So that's what I've been doing. Just check 721,000 downvotes on Cuties. Now this was another funny quote rebuttal to my tweet. Was like, it's like I can't believe you tweeted this and Netflix apologized. I'm like, Netflix apologized because of this tweet. Because this tweet went super viral, Netflix apologized. It's like you have the order reversed.
It is good to see.
Yeah, he'll talk to me even though I'm a super vampire here.
Let's do business.
Sell him. Sell some of this, some of these potions. Weak potion of weakness. Screenshot.
A fine transaction.
Thank you, Kaku. Chaz. Map has wares if you have kids. Oh my. Map, it means minor attractive person usually.
That seems a fair price.
So a lot of this stuff. Name potion. I don't know what name potion does. It's just blank. I don't know. This is like a weird error. Maybe, I don't know.
You've made a good bit of gold. That's a fair deal.
So some of this stuff. Anything that's pretty heavy, we should get rid of. Shield's pretty useful if I get into a hard part. I actually don't need this because I have magic. It does that. Need this. All right. Then we'll just make a bunch real quick.
Please.
Might have to leave it there. When you get really high alchemy, you can just make like single ingredient potions, which is kind of fun. You could turn your poison apples that you get from Lucien LeChance's room just into super powerful poisons. What were people mad about? Oh, because they had that defector, I don't remember his name. That famous YouTube's banned the video. So you can't keep the video up on YouTube. YouTube bans the video of, what's his name? Yuriv, I'm trying to remember. Talking about demoralizing people is what it's all about. So it's a pretty interesting little video. You could find it on BitChute for sure. So the left was upset for having that because they think it's all BS that the USSR demoralized people by spreading their political ideology. All right.
Return. It is good. Can I interest you in some of my wares?
Sell some of this stuff. This is kind of a waste of time, but you get the idea. I'm just gonna sell that.
That seems a fair price. That's...
Okay. Alright. Sell the poisons, because I never use these. Like damage intelligence, damage fatigue, it's not really going to do anything. Get some money. Alright.
Come back. Please, return soon. It's
Your
all...
character totally doesn't look like a worm tongue. Name potion is a glitch from accidentally making one ingredient potion without the master alchemist ability. Well, thank you for that. See, I didn't know that. I'm getting owned by the sun. Alright, we're gonna wait till nightfall. Let's wait 11 hours. Alright, yeah. Well, I just found an ant. Interesting. So, yeah, I need to go get some ant poison today. Looks like these insolent ants are crawling in here looking for food. I think I have a cough drop in here. Did they find the cough drop? No. We're okay. We're okay, folks. They didn't find the cough drop. Sorry, it's getting hot in here.
You look a bit ill.
A lot of what... Oh, Yuri Bezmenov, yeah, said seems to have come true. There's also a black former communist who published a book in the 60s that pretty much predicted Black Lives Matter. I forgot his name. Yeah, I don't remember it either, but I think I know what you're talking about. I don't think I read it, though. In fact, I didn't read it. I might have read like a synopsis of it at best. But I think I know what you're talking about. Apple Watch. It's time to get Apple Watch, guys. Time to get an Apple Watch in Oblivion. Oh, and I was pleased to learn that you two are a fan of the Ewok films. Seem to be a smaller slice of the fandom. I loved them as a kid. I think they're great kids' movies. I don't think they're great movies, but they're good for kids, and they've just kind of forgotten, just kind of forgotten stories. And people really, a lot of that Ewok stuff from the 80s was really actually pretty fun for kids. I liked it a lot as a kid. They had an Ewoks cartoon, too. I don't think that one really holds up so good, but the Ewoks movies really aren't bad. We should take another look at them sometime. A lot of heart to them, good storytelling. But like I said, there's this contingent of the fandom that wants Star Wars to be the super duper adult thing with nothing for kids at all. And I don't see it that way. Irinia Draconis. First, let's drink your blood. So she'll talk to us. Oh no, they're in the comments. I don't remember if I could find it like in a book or if I could talk to her. Are you interested in reading Jeff Smith's Bone?
Hello
Cross
there.
between Uncle Scrooge comics
I'm
and The
sorry,
Hobbit.
you
Has a lot of
startled me.
charm. Interesting.
My nerves get rattled rather easily these days, I'm afraid. Living alone will do that to you. Now, is there something I can help you with? My children? Whatever for? Oh dear. Excuse an old woman's stupidity. You're here to pick up my gift list. Using your gift service was the smartest thing I've ever done.
Bone.
My children are spread across Cyrodiil, and it's so hard to shop for them all. So here's the list of all my precious little ones, though I dare say they're not so little anymore. They grow up so fast, I swear. You'll notice that the list gives each child's location and some suggestions for gifts. Oh, and here's the gold I'm supposed to give you. Now please go. Those children are so dear to me, and I'd really like you to get them something special. Thanks again.
All right. Now we get to stalk and kill. Lots of people. I'm going to kill her children first and come back and tell her that I killed her children. Ever watch Brave Little Toaster movie? It's kind of similar to Toy Story, but with appliances. Yeah, it came first. I think that some of the people who worked on Toy Story worked on Brave Little Toaster.
Yeah? Slave of what? Oh, all right then. You're some kind of crazy, is that it? Come here then. Show me what you've got.
What is it now?
Yeah?
See, in Morrowind, you can get people to just attack
Some
you.
kind of crazy, is that it? Come here then. Show me what.
See, he won't attack me. But in Morrowind, you can just get people to attack you, and they'll just attack you. That's what I really want. I want him to just attack me. Yeah, Star Wars hasn't appealed to lots of people, and I think the obsession with trying to make it some kind of grown-up thing, like there's people who are they're like only fans of the first two movies, and if you push them, then they're really just like, I just like Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back's a good movie, I enjoy it, but it's not like
Yes?
that's all of Star Wars is Empire Strikes Back. Where are you going, son? Where are you going? You're gonna go over to a nice, secluded location so that I can kill you. I hope you go inside a house. I was hoping you'd go in a house somewhere. That way. If I look closely, it should show his like house here. Wherever he happens to be. Just say like his house, but I don't know if he has a house. There it is. We'll just go to his house and wait for him. That'll work. Oh, this is a fun little touch here, guys. Look, this is the cover art from Arena, the first Elder Scrolls game. That's it, right there. Pretty fun. Pretty fun little Easter egg there. Yeah, Empire has some of the most whimsical ones, like with Yoda. Yoda in general is meant to appeal to children as well. He's a little talking green puppet. And that's kind of what makes him fun, is that he's a kind of it's a duality kind of character. Yoda's a little green puppet, and he's saying really serious philosophical things. That's kind of why I like Yoda. There he is. Nope, that's someone else. Do have some magic for this. He just like leaves his clothes sitting around. Not a very cleanly gentleman. Let's see if there's stuff we can steal. That's good. It's hard to find valuable things to steal. Like, no one leaves anything valuable sitting around, it seems like. You know? It's like garbage. Oh, I can't wait while trespassing. Alright, well, I got a solution to that too, guys. Which is this. Well, first of all, I guess I could kill this guy, huh? So much for that guy. I don't even know who he is, but I killed him. Let's see if there's an entrance to the sewer down here. Thought there was, but maybe there's not. Nope, I might be crazy and just kill the guy for no reason whatsoever. But he'll like come home and basically realize that his friend's dead and not care, which I find funny. Yeah. I thought his house had an entrance to the sewer. I guess I was wrong. Let's wait 3 hours for him to come home. Kill him in his house and won't get a bounty. Killed him for Sithis.
Hewlin Athram, of the Krakenmore Athrals. Made my fortune in the Flynn trade, and now I'm here in the city, living a life of ease. You too.
Oh, apparently he's over here right now.
Yeah? Okay.
When is this guy going home? Oh, he works for Umbacano.
Good to see you.
What's the schedule for the live streams? Always Wednesday at 6, sometimes Saturday at 1. Just depends on what I have going for the day. A lot of times on Saturdays I have to be involved with other things, like kids. Oh, he's in the Umbacano Manor right now, working as a guard. Is he down in the basement? Okay. This would be like a perfect place to kill him. Where is he? There he is.
You're not supposed to be in here. By the gods!
There we go. His house key. Let's take everything. Alright.
I work as a...
Hi.
Alright. I think I'm out of time for today. I need to get back to doing some other stuff. So it's almost 20 minutes. See if there's one more thing I can do, like kill one more.
Stop right there, criminal.
Piggle.
That's too bad. Okay.
We'll give him 40 gold. Why not? Somehow I got caught.
Speak.
Here we go. Got all my stuff back.
You have my ear, citizen.
Oh, I'm gonna have to wait for it to be nightfall now. Three hours. Okay. Yeah, I think the first Star Wars film is probably technically the best on just like a general level. It just has everything going for it. Luckily, I already found this Drunken Dragon Inn, so I can just go in here and clean up.
You have my ear, citizen.
Oh, there he is. So, a couple ways I can do this. Pickpocket him, and I can just put a poison apple in there. And there we go. Next victim. And if that doesn't work, I could probably come back and kill him. Over here. Alright, I'm actually going to probably call it there. And I'll probably see you guys next time. I really appreciate it. Newest book is Tyrant's Gallow, but you should probably read City of Silver first, because it's the first one. And if you want the more classic fantasy series, that's going to start with Water of Awakening. That takes place basically in the distant past from these books. And everything, the relationship between the two series will become clear maybe in a couple years when I get to the next series. There'll be a final series that'll pull everything together. So thanks so much, guys. I really do appreciate it. So here they are. Tyrant Scalo. And of course, keys to prolific creativity. I do talk about a lot of practical things for getting your stuff out there, avoiding perfectionism, things like that. In fact, I have a whole chapter called Avoid Perfectionism, I think, in here somewhere. Chapter 7, Avoid Perfectionism. And, you know, what's a perfectionist? The false dichotomy of quality and quantity. All that stuff is in there. So please check it out. And it's $2.99 for the ebook. And I will see you guys on Wednesday, 6 p.m. So I do appreciate it. And hope you guys will have a great day for the rest of the day. And I'll have some more content coming out today, regular videos, and tomorrow and during the week, hopefully, too, now that I have some time to kind of catch up on things. So see you next time.